Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back. I'm going to be giving you your science lesson for today. So last week, we've been learning about habitats, environments. We've been learning about the food chain, who eats what, who gets energy from who. And so today, we're going to be learning about something called interdependence. And that's just a very fancy word for what organism depends on what organism for what. Okay, so let me give you an example. For example, we are humans. We depend a lot on plants. We depend on plants to build our homes that are made out of wood. We depend on plants to make our clothes, like we use cotton to make a lot of our clothes. We depend on plants for food, for our salads, for our lettuce, for our tomatoes. We depend on animals. How? Well, we eat many of the animals, chicken, fish, beef, all of that comes from animals. We depend on nature to give us these things, right? To give us these animals, to give us these plants that we need. We're organisms that need other organisms to continue to live. So today we're going to be learning about interdependence and what some other animals depend on to meet their basic needs, okay? So here we have some information. It says, read the information about interdependence. You have this on page 78 of your booklet. And so let me quickly just say interdependence in Spanish quiere decir quién depende de qué para qué, ¿ok? Un organismo depende de otro organismo para tener todo lo que necesita para vivir, ¿ok? Un animal depende de otro animal o de plantas para vivir, ¿ok? So interdependent is how an organism depends on another organism to meet their basic needs. Animals depend on plants and other animals for food. That was kind of like the example I gave today. Some animals depend on plants for shelter. Guess what? We do too, because our homes are made out of wood that comes from trees. So let's look at these pictures here. Here we have a bird. The bird is using plants to build a nest for a space to lay eggs. So the bird is depending on plants for shelter. Okay, here we have a koala. The koala is eating leaves for food. The koala is depending on plants for food. This one was depending for shelter. This one is now depending on the plants for food. The rabbit is using the grass to hide. Now this rabbit is not using the grass to eat right now. It's not using the grass as the shelter right now. It's using the grass for safety, right? It's staying away from predators, right? And here we have the bird is eating a worm for food. So this animal is eating another animal for food. So it's one animal depends on another animal for food. Okay. So now I'm gonna show you a video about interdependence, okay? And be ready to explain how animals and plants depend on each other in their environment, okay? And so let's get ready. Oh, sorry, one more time. Let's try this one more time. Here we go. Pay attention, guys, please.
What is interdependence? Let's discover how animals and plants help or depend on each other. In many places around the world, animals and plants have different jobs to make living in the same place possible. Interdependence is how an organism depends on another organism to meet their basic needs for food or shelter. Without plants in their environment, these buffalo would have to travel very far away to find food. Different animals depend on different plants. A giraffe needs tall plants because it is tall. Do you see how this butterfly needs a strong plant to form a pupa in its life cycle? Let's look at how parrots depend on plants and the plants depend on the parrots. Parrots spend their day looking for seeds, fruits, and flowers to eat from plants. When the parrot flies away, the seeds fall a good distance from the adult plant to give it space to grow. Parrots also depend on dead or once living tree trunks to build their nest or for shelter. Animals depend on plants from weather that is too hot or too cold. Do you notice how the giraffe is finding shade from the tree? No matter the environment, animals and plants depend on each other to live and grow.
Okay, so we learned that animals and plants depend on each other, right? So we have we're going to look at page 79 of our packet. And here we have a picture on page 79 of an environment. It says, look at the environment in the picture. Choose two organisms, animal or plant, to tell how each one depend on another living organism. So I can choose to write the words on my own, or I can choose to use this writing frame to help me write my ideas about how they depend on each other. So in this picture, boys and girls, you see trees. There's an oak tree. There's a sweet gum tree, an elm tree, a pecan tree, a lovely leaf tree, pine. So there's different kinds of trees in this environment. Some animals that we find in this environment: fox, armadillo, cardinal, mockingbird, raccoon, squirrel, or screech owl. Okay, so let's look at two organisms and talk about how they depend on each other. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to write instead of writing my own, I am going to choose to write about interdependence using my writing frame. Okay, so let me scoot in a little bit more. Okay, so here we go. Interdependence is how an organism depends on another organism to meet their basic needs. One living organism in this environment is I'm going to choose this one. It depends on, the squirrel depends on the oak tree. Or we can say for food. Because remember, squirrels eat acorns, and acorns are found on oak trees. So squirrel, it depends on an oak tree for food. It also depends on the oak tree or meet a basic need for shelter. Okay, so the squirrel depends on the oak tree for food and for shelter. Another living organism in this environment is, um, we can say the parrot, or we can say the bird, or we can say the armadillo, or we can say the raccoon. So let's go ahead and say the fox. Is the fox. It depends on, what does it depend on for food? Well, I think the squirrels might be a tasty option. What do you think? The fox, it depends on squirrels to meet its need for food. We can also say it depends on plants to meet its need of safety, right? It can hide to try to get its food. Okay, so instead of writing my own, I use the writing frame to complete my learning of interdependence. Now, what you're going to do, boys and girls, this is going to be your assignment. First, you're going to turn to page 82 in your booklet, okay? You have 1, 2, 3 questions to answer. You're going to take a picture of this and send it to me. Then you're going to turn to page 84, and this is what I learned in science. What did you learn in science from the video or from my lesson that you heard today? Today I learned, tell me one thing, draw a picture. Today, another thing I learned was, tell me the second thing you learned about draw a picture. I also learned, tell me a third thing that you learned and draw a picture. Make sure you write in complete sentences and make sure you draw a picture for each, okay? So this is your lesson. I expect this page and this page for your science work for this week. This will be your grade, okay? Hopefully you guys learned about interdependence and how animals and plants need each other for different things. I hope you liked today's lesson. Alrighty, guys, have a good week learning about science and math and reading and writing. Oh, one more thing, friends. Don't forget, it's garden day this week, so you might want to go and check out our garden link so that you can have our virtual garden day today. Okay? Bye. See you later.